I hear you. Hi.
Okay, we ready?
Live.
Okay, good evening. It is now 6:30, and I'm going to call to order the Wellness and Recreation Commission regular meeting to order now. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes, good evening. Chair Julie Cuellar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Natasha Sanchez Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Christian Garcia,
Here.
Commissioner Flor Sanchez,
Here.
and Commissioner Erica Friend is absent.
Thank you. Can we have Vice Brooks lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm asking for approval of the agenda.
I approve.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Chair Julie Cuellar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Friend is absent.
Thank you. Have we had any public comments or anything sent over?
We do not have public comment for tonight.
Great, thank you. We're going to move on. Next is the consent calendar. Do I have an emotion to approve?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Chair Cuellar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Friend is absent.
Okay, next on the agenda is going to be administrative reports. San Fernando Police Department update on park activity.
Good evening. First, I want to apologize for my partner, Commander Jason. He had a personal matter to attend to, so I'm filling in for him today. With that being said, is it possible to put the map up on the screen? Can we zoom out a little bit? There you go. I think that's good. So first and foremost, good evening. Again, my name is Sergeant Walter Dominguez, and today I will be providing you an update on recent crime trends and enforcement activities within our city parks. The following information summarizes reports, traffic citations, parking violations, and traffic collision and extra patrol activities documented at each of our parks for the months of April, May, and June. This overview is intended to keep the commission informed of the public safety activity and to help identify any patterns or areas of concerns that may require attention or resources. Sorry, I had to move my radio. I have this big antenna poking me in the face. So first, we're gonna focus on Rec Park. During April, May, and June, we recorded one report from Rec Park for found property. Apparently, a parolee left his GPS tracking device at the park, so we ended up recovering it. No traffic citations or traffic collisions were recorded for this period. Parking citations total 7 overall, 3 in April, 2 for handicap violations, and 1 street sweeper violation. 1 in May for a street sweeper violation, and 3 in June for parking on the parkway, sweeper violation, and an abandoned vehicle. Additionally, we conducted 110 extra patrols with 40 in April, 35 in May, and 35 in June. As for Lane Park remained very quiet over the 3-month period with no reports, traffic citations, or parking citations and collisions recorded. There were, however, 16 extra patrols conducted at Lane Park during this 3-month period, which included 6 in April, 4 in May, and 6 in June. You ask why so little extra patrols at Lane Park is because Lane Park is a very small park. It's very open. It's maybe 50 yards long, so it's very easy for us to patrol, has very easy access for us to go into the park. As for Las Palmas Park, we saw Las Palmas Park saw the highest level of activity during this period. There were 4 reports recorded during this period, 2 in April. One of them was for a warrant arrest, A second one was for a battery on a city employee. There was two in May, one for a vandalism, where four subjects spray painted gang graffiti, and a second one was for battery. Uh, During this period, no traffic citations were issued, and there were no traffic collisions reported at this park. Um, However, we recorded a total of 7 citations, 3 in April, 2 for vehicles parked with expired registration, and 1 for being parked out of zone. There was 2 in May, 1 for a vehicle being parked in the disabled crosshatch lines, and 1 for a sweeper violation, and 2 in June, both for sweeper violations. The park also had the most extra patrols conducted, totaling 115 for this period, with 41 in April, 45 in May, and 29 in June. In respect to Pioneer Park, we documented 4 reports in May, all related to vehicle impounds for vehicles being parked illegally at the park. No citations were issued, and there were no traffic collisions reported. Parking citations totaled 5, including 4 in April for street sweeper violations and 1 for expired registration. There was 1 in May for parking on overnight at the park, and extra patrols included 35 entries with 14 in April, 6 in May, and 15 in June. In respect to Rudy Ortega Park, we had a total of 3 reports recorded during this period. 2 arrests in April, 1 for possession of drug paraphernalia, and the other for possession of a controlled substance. No citations or traffic collisions were recorded at the park during this period. We documented a total of 47 extra patrols, which included 15 in April, 14 in May, and 18 in June. As for Cindy Montañez Natural Park, we recorded 2 reports, 1 in May for an arrest for possession of a controlled substance and resisting arrest, and a second one in June for assault with a deadly weapon, where the suspect used a knife to assault a person. No traffic citations, parking citations, or traffic collisions were recorded. As for extra patrols, we recorded 1 in April, 3 in May, and 1 in June. Just keep in mind that it's very there's Cindy Montanez Park is very difficult to access through a vehicle. So we conduct foot beats at that park. So we walk from 8th Street all the way to Foothill when we do our extra patrols, because there's no route for us to take a vehicle into the park. And this concludes my report. I am happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Let's start with Commissioner Friend.
Thank you for the report. Just a question about the City Montañez Park. Is there just no period access for cars to go through there? Or is it just kind of one of those, it's locked up, but we can't get through that way? Do you guys go through the wash, or you just walk the pathway only through the 8th to Foothill?
Yes, the only way we could access that park's on foot. There's no road, or it doesn't have room enough for us to drive a vehicle into the park. So either we access the park by foot off of Foothill or 8th Street.
And the wash area is not your guys' jurisdiction, right? Closest to that City Montañez Park?
The bike path is, just the wash is not. The wash belongs to the County of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And anything underneath the Foothill overpass, that
Mhm.
belongs to the city of LA.
Okay. And then the reports of that happened at with the assault with a deadly weapon was, do we know the status of that? Whether it was a individual that was homeless, or was it just a?
I do not have that information on hand to let you know
Mhm.
whether the person was homeless or not.
Mhm.
All we know is that the subject was arrested, and the victim was okay.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia?
Hi, thanks for the report. I had a similar question about that park because we go to Target a lot and so I'm always driving to Target like right before it closes. And I see a lot of transients like going in and out of that area on the foothill side. So I was wondering how many patrols you guys do, foot patrols there, per day or per week on average.
We try to average about 3 foot patrols there during the day. At night, the park does get locked. However, most of the foot traffic comes off of Foothill, and most of the way these people access the wash is by jumping the fence. So in the evening, it does get locked. And again, it's at at night. It's very hard to see there because there's no lights, so it's pitch black. So most of the foot patrols are conducted during the day.
All right, thank you. And would you say, because I don't want to be calling in every day, but I do. I mean, there's some scary people that I drive by. I'm like, wow, he's going into that area of the park. I guess I can't know for sure if whether they jump the fence or they just disappear into the wash. But would you recommend that we just report that, or
We do encourage people to call if they see any suspicious activity. Just recently, I want to say last week, I went on a foot beat there with my officers because we got information that there was a homeless encampment underneath one of the bridges that's inside the park. So we went out there, and surely enough, there was a homeless encampment, and it was called in by a passerby, by someone walking through the park. So yes, we do recommend people to call us because it's a very hard park to access, and either, like I said, we either come off of Foothill or 8th Street, but by the time we get there and walk, they tend to see us and run away. But we always encourage people to call us.
okay, well, well, thank you, thank you.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Thank you. Yes, and stick on the same topic of Cine Montañas Park. We walk that park a lot, and I'm sort of getting a little concerned in the sense that there's a lot of students that walk by there going to Cesar Chavez High School. I didn't realize how dangerous it could be, but I walk it during the day. So I think I have called about the encampment before. I don't know if that's the call you got, but there's other encampments that are closer to that construction site. Those new homes that are being built. There's a vegetation, overgrown vegetation, and under that there's an encampment there as well. I haven't walked there in a week, so I haven't seen if it's still there. But anyhow, is there? What's my question? How fast can you guys get there if we see something like this, especially when we see kids walking by there? What is the time it takes you to get to that location?
So, depending on the call for service, right? We have type 1, type 2, type 3 calls for service. So type 1 call for service is an emergency response where our officers respond with lights and sirens to a call. That normally has anywhere from a 3 to 5 minute response time. A type 2 call, which is non-emergency, that one has up to a 10-minute response time. A type 3 call, where it's just suspicious activity, we have, I believe, up to 15 minutes, but we try to get there as quickly as possible depending on the availability of our officers. But if you call, like for example, we receive a call of a suspicious person at the park, we'll try to get there within 10 minutes. But now that's just getting there. The other problem we encounter is walking, right? So walking normally, if I start at 8th Street and I walk all the way to Foothill, that takes me anywhere from 10 to about 15 minutes to get to the other end of the park. So times vary from depending which point do we come into the park. So non-emergency, actually for an emergency call, you could see us there within 5 minutes. Especially, let's say if we're down in the south end of the city and we're trying to get to the north end, which is the farthest point where the park is at, it could probably take us about 5 minutes to get there. And then if you add a few more minutes, us walking to wherever the incident's taking place in the park, that could be an additional time. So times vary.
Yeah. And do you also patrol the bike area I guess starting from Foothill, I would assume that you do look at it while you're walking that way. But how about the other way, towards the school, towards the swap meet?
So we do we do patrol the wash because there is a penal code section which is 555, which prohibits any pedestrians being inside the wash. So, which is a misdemeanor in the state of California. And when we do see people in the wash walking, we do try to detain them and stop them. But just sometimes they take off running, right? And by the time we try to get into the wash, we have to jump a fence. It makes it kind of difficult at times. But we do, if we do see people in the wash, we do try to go in and try to make contact with them because they are committing a crime.
I think my question was going more along the lines of the students that walk the bike path to get to school. And I have encountered students walking there and then also homeless walking.
So,
Yeah.
as a few months ago, we haven't been able to access the bike path with our police cars because there were a boulder was placed at the entrances. So for us to make it, let's say, if we come off of Glen Oaks, because that's the closest entry point into the bike path, and we want to make it all the way to the school, we have to walk that a long distance because we can't drive our cars on the bike path anymore.
And that location also doesn't have cameras?
No, it doesn't have cameras, but it does have lights. The park doesn't have lights.
Sounds like maybe that's a little bit of a risk to the students, right?
Yes, it could be a risk while they're going from school to home or from home to school. Yes, there's always that propensity of them falling victims to a crime. But again, it's very difficult for us to drive into that
Yeah.
bike path.
Is that something that we would be able to say to talk about the possibility of maybe bringing down those poles, those metals for access for patrolling, or perhaps cameras or something to help the students be more safe in that area?
I believe that the reason those were put there, they were put in place, is because the city was experiencing the theft of copper wires from its poles, and they were stealing the solar panels and cutting down the poles. So that's why those poles were put at the entry, because we ended up learning that they were driving the cars onto the bike path to cut the solar panels, rip the copper wire out.
Oh, gosh.
And yeah, so that's the reason they were put in place.
If I may, Madam Chair, there is a wash update project in the works through Public Works, where council has been kept informed about future possible upgrades to that area, which include security upgrades. The poles that have been vandalized are an easy target. So they're planning to bring in better ones that cannot be vandalized as easily. What I would suggest is that you just keep in touch with the council member that sponsor you, because if you have any suggestions, they're already talking about that update at that level. The other thing is that, of course, every time you see something suspicious or something that you consider as possibly dangerous, of course, we suggest that you call our police department right away. But I would also encourage you to download the city's app, My San Fernando, and if you see homeless people, that you report that. If you see vandalism, graffiti, all that, if you use the app, gets looked at right away. A ticket number is created. It gets to the proper department right away. And what's also really cool about that is that, for example, if you report graffiti, they keep sending you updates as to when the crew went out there when they cleaned it up and all that. Pictures are always encouraged, and you can upload them through the app.
Sergeant Dominguez, if I could make a comment in regards to the safety. I know you can't drive your cars, but have they considered maybe having the bicycles go through during the daytime? At times, do they put
We-
like the bikes on the car and they can do that at times?
Yes, we have deployed our bike patrol officers to patrol the parks and the bike path because they're the only, besides going on foot, that's the easiest way to get on the bike path. So yes, we have deployed our bike detail to patrol the parks and the bike path, which includes the bike path that runs along First Street, along the train tracks, including the one along the Wash.
So I assume if you do get a call versus knowing that it's going to be in that area, then you guys will maybe at some point send someone to go through with the bike? Like if there's a call and you know that it's instead of walking and you guys.
It depends. It depends on the type of call that it is. Again, there's only several ways in and out of the bike path, right? So for us, we have also certain methods or tactics, if you want to call them, for us to contain people within an area. So yes, we have methods and tactics in order for us to contain someone. But sometimes, again, we don't carry the bikes on the back of our police cars. So sometimes we do get there faster with our vehicles and on foot. But the bikes, we use those for special details, or we want to target like the parks, the bike paths, civic centers, or normally where we can't get our cars into.
So you already have it set in your policies or with your calls, if you're going to need that, you guys would put it into.
Yes, our
into,
standard
your
operating procedures.
operate.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm sorry, Commissioner.
No, you're okay.
Make that comment, go on.
But thank you for bringing that up. Actually, I did know you had bikes, and it totally slipped my mind. But thank you for bringing
We
that
have
up.
these cool e-bikes.
Yeah. It helps you. You don't have to pedal so hard, so
Yeah.
much, right? But oh, we're gonna have to see a picture of that. But in addition to that, so you're saying you have like a schedule patrolling those areas, whether it's by the what am I trying to say, by San Fernando Middle School, the train tracks, or the bike path?
So we've incorporated the extra patrols into our daily, I hate calling it routine, but during our daily patrol activity, our officers are out conducting extra patrols. They target the parks, the bike paths, alleyways, cul-de-sacs. So for example, Cesar Chavez Learning Academy, you have Aviation Place, which ends up in the cul-de-sac back there. So we do patrol that area too. Then you have Rod's Way, that also we have gotten complaints about kids loitering around the area when they get out of school. So we've incorporated certain areas into our daily operation where officers go out. So all these extra patrols that I read, it's part of our daily routine where our officers ensure that we are driving by the parks. We are driving through the bike paths. We are driving through the civic center and mall district.
I appreciate that, and I know these are some of our most vulnerable residents, right? The youth. So I appreciate that, and it's not that I was doubting that you were doing it. I'm just still not very familiar.
No.
So thank you for explaining
No,
that. I appreciate it.
It's a great question. Like, for example, let's say during the rainy season, right? When it starts raining, we already know that when the rain comes, we added patrolling the Wash is going to be part of our routine now because I've been here for 19 years, and every now, like, you do get people that get washed away. So every now and then we do provide extra patrol on the Wash just in case, we find someone in the Wash. So also depending on the season, we tend to change which areas we target also.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. No more questions.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Brooks.
Thank you for the report. Always love getting these just so we're very aware of what's happening within our community. Um, so when you say down here at Las Palmas, when you say loitering where children congregate, were they doing something that was unacceptable or not like in front of children, or is it just that it was in the playground area at Las Palmas Park? I'm just curious about that one because that
Sorry, the gang graffiti you're talking about?
you know that one arrest for outstanding warrant subject to loitering where children were congregating. Like, what was that about?
Oh, yes, it was, that person was around the play area.
Okay.
So again, members from the community called
Okay.
saying there was a suspicious person that looked at a place. So our officers responded, they detained them. So normally what we do when we detain someone, one, we try to determine whether they are committing any criminal acts. But if they're not, we normally tend to do a want warrant check to see if they have any outstanding warrants for their arrest or they're wanted out of some other county or city. So during this process, when they detained that individual, they discovered that he did have a warrant for his arrest.
Got it.
So that's why we were able to place him under arrest and get him away from the park.
Okay.
But again, that's what we encourage the community to do, right? To call anything suspicious that they see for us to respond. And then we take certain investigative steps to try to determine whether that person committed a crime or not. But we have certain tools at our disposal, like, for example, us running them for wants or warrants to see if they have any warrants issued for the arrest. If they do, then we take them into custody.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And then another question I did have, just one more, last one fast. I've noticed an uptick in unhoused being within the community, especially in the parks. I've noticed a lot more. And of course, we have to be compassionate and, understand what's happening in the world and the climate. What are you guys doing? I mean, I just noticed that there's a lot more. So how are you guys handling that situation? Because the other day I went to the park with my son and I saw like one looked like they were a little off the rocker. Kind of had to like pull my son aside, but yet, you want to be mindful. But have you noticed that? And what are you guys doing to help fix those problems within the parks?
So when our officers get called to a person experiencing homelessness, we also take investigative steps, right? First, we try to see if they're in need of any medical attention. Like, for example, you said that person was acting weird. They might be suffering from a mental illness. So we have certain steps to try to see if they meet a criteria for us to take them to the hospital to see a psychiatric doctor, right? But they have to meet a certain criteria for us to take them. If they do meet that criteria, then it's not placed under arrest, it's a detainer because we take them for a 5150 hold, which is it's an administrative detention. So we take them for a psych evaluation at a hospital, and from there, they'll evaluate them, try to connect them to services, or maybe they go from one facility to another until they are stabilized. If that person doesn't meet those requirements, then what we do, we reach out to North Valley Caring Services, which is located here at City Hall, and we try to connect them to resources. We also now have clinicians in our station where they also, I think they're currently I think right now we have a part-timer, which he's here Mondays and Thursdays, but we're trying to get another one so we have a full-time staff. So when we do experience people who are from the less fortunate community, we could connect them to services directly. So the clinicians respond and they'll try to connect them to services. And they'll respond to the field and try to get them the services they need and maybe even try to find them housing, which is a great program. So between North Valley Caring Services and the clinicians that we have housed in our station, it has given us more tools for us to tap into in order to connect people to services. But then again, a lot of these services are voluntary. They have to accept it. They also have the right to decline the services. But again, as long as they're not committing a crime, blocking a sidewalk, it's not a crime to be homeless. So,
Thank you. That's it. Thank you once again.
you're welcome.
I just one question, and seeing that every day we seem to have a lot of situations happening in the park. Um, I know we're not MacArthur Park, but what's your guys' protocol over situations like that where there's a possibility of an ice raid happening at a park, or just the fact that there's SWAT teams coming in from the park? When people call 911 and when you guys show up, what do you guys do in your protocol to like help prevent people from getting injured, children from getting injured? Is there just a protocol or just um I'm just
So
curious to see what just about, I guess, because I've personally been meeting up with a lot of people that who are scared to go to the park nowadays because it's just that show that they gave us for MacArthur Park was very scary for a lot of people who will bring their children to the park, or even just people, senior citizens who just walk at the park. What's the likelihood of just something like this happening in our community, which is a small park? How how do we know that we can call upon you guys to come protect us if something like this happens to us?
so we do understand the fear um, that currently people have in the community, in the county, in the state, and the country. Um, However, the California Values Act prohibits us, law enforcement, local law enforcement, and state, to cooperate with any federal agency, especially immigration. So we don't cooperate with them at all. All right. So we don't share information. We don't allow them access to our facilities, city properties, things like that. However, in the incidents that have happened within the city, where ICE has shown up because it's been all over social media and the news, what we at the department have tried to do, we have tried to get in contact with someone from that agency out in the field and just make sure that they are who they are, and we try to determine what operation is being carried out. For example, a few weeks ago, I was working and I received a call that there was maybe about 20, 30 possible ICE agents up at the Home Depot. I sent one of my officers, one of my senior officers, to go out there and try to verify this because, again, we got word that people were running, people were scared, people were hiding. So one of my officers went out there. He made contact with a supervisor, only to discover that it was three agencies working together. It was the California Highway Patrol, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and the LAPD. What they were doing homeless outreach, right? They were in the wash, trying to do some homeless outreach. They were reaching out to people that were living along the 210 freeway. So our job, we try to go out there and identify what's happening. But other than that, we try not to interfere with any operations because again, they're federal agents. We're state and local. We're local. So federal supersedes local law. So again, the stand we have taken is that we are not going to cooperate with any federal agency when it comes to immigration operations. But second, when we have responded to these incidents where we are aware that ICE has arrived or has been at the location, what we try to do is try to remain neutral, but try to keep the peace. That's our job, is to make sure that things don't get out of hand. People are welcome to protest, but as long as they do it in a peaceful manner, and that we try not to intervene with the operation. So our job is to keep the peace.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of people need to hear that more often. Just the fact that it could just happen anywhere, and a lot of people are staying home for because of that, and I think a lot of our parks are going to suffer that way too. It's like a ripple effect. We don't have people coming to the parks. We don't have people to resource the parks,
But
and but thank you. I think I really appreciate to hear that. Hopefully that when if we ever have a situation like that, and then we can call upon you guys, that hopefully you stand behind us and just keep the peace, like you said, and hopefully nobody gets injured or taken without a warrant. Thank
yes,
you.
and just um, to add a little bit more, when ICE has been or immigration has been in town, we do get it. The way we find out about it is from community members. They start calling the station because again, they don't notify us, they don't let us know, they don't share any information with us. So it catches everyone by surprise, including us. So again, what we try to do is go out there and try to keep the peace and make sure everyone's safe.
Those are great questions from everybody. I'm not going to have any further questions. I do want to thank you so much for all that information that you have provided to us. And once again, thank you for the job that you all do, especially at these times right now. And I think that was a really good question that people do need to know and understand is that the federal government is above our, ranking higher than our officers, and people don't understand that even just getting involved on trying to stop them from doing their job can get them felony charges as interfering with the federal government. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, uh, they're trying to get involved, but they don't understand there's charges that can actually be filed on you for trying to interfere with them doing what they're supposed to do. And it's just, hopefully, um, there's, I don't want to go there, but it's just let's keep our country and our city and state in prayer. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next item on the administrative report is going to be the Cesar Chavez Memorial renovation project update. Julio?
Yes, Madam Chair. This actually the ad hoc committee for the Cesar Chavez Memorial has also been reactivated with City Council. Mayor Mary Mendoza, Council Member Patty Lopez have reactivated the Cesar Chavez Memorial Ad Hoc Committee at the council level. They had a meeting about a month and a half ago. It was a walkthrough meeting of the Cesar Chavez Memorial. They're looking, I'm sorry, maybe it was a little longer than a month and a half ago, but they're looking at possible ways of fixing what needs to be fixed, of replacing some of the plaques that have been stolen, um, and looking at funding and other ways that can be financed. Um, one of the bumps on the road that they have come across is that, for example, the plaques that were stolen had the names of the original donors to the original project, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to locate those records to replace the plaques. We are currently asking some people that were involved in the initial project. We are looking at old records, but we haven't been able to locate that as of now. Um, but they have identified certain areas in the memorial. For example, they're looking at turning the water fountain back on. They're looking at replacing or fixing, I'm sorry, the lights at the memorial. Um, they're looking at adding more things that will make it more visible from the street as people drive by. Keeping in mind that in the next 4 years we have pretty global significant events coming to our area. That includes the 26 World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. So we want that to be kind of like a destination for when the world come and visits. Um, but um, but that's pretty much the update that I have right now. The Pueblo y Salud did meet with the ad hoc committee, um, and they agreed that some things need to be fixed. They agreed that either some fundraisers or the city will have to help in the process of fundraising. Um, Unfortunately, the meeting was all positive. Everybody had great ideas. The walkthrough was great. Unfortunately, this situation with our community and immigration, that's when it started happening. So this has kind of taken like a backseat to the efforts that council is now trying to create resources that they're trying to bring forth for community members that have been affected with this situation can take advantage of. So there is the ball got rolling. Unfortunately, those efforts have stopped a little due to this more urgent ones. But as soon as as soon as it's appropriate to continue with those efforts, of course, I'll keep bringing more updates to this group. I'm aware that that there's new members in the commission. So if I need to forward the MOU again with the explanations on responsibilities in part of the city and in part of the Pueblo y Salud, I can do that this week. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer.
Please do that. That would be appreciated. Um, let's go ahead with Mr. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for that information. No questions right now, but yeah, I would like to. When you say forward, you're talking about the MOU to see they can work together. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that would be nice to receive at some point. Thank you.
We'll do it.
Commissioner Fred?
No comments. I guess let me know for one of the members for the AHOC. Let me know. I can join you guys. Thank you.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Thank you. I did reach out earlier today to get a copy of the MOU, and he sent it to me. So I had an opportunity to go through it. So it's really interesting to see it. But just one question, and I meant to ask you earlier. Is there a date set already for the next meeting with Mayor Mary Mendoza and Councilman Lopez with Pueblo y Salud?
No, there's no specific date. There was a consensus that they needed to meet again. Again, given that we need to locate some of the records in order to move forth with the process of replacing the plaques and other things. There was no specific date set for the meeting, but they said that they were going to meet. As soon as I have that information, I'll make sure that this group has that.
Is there a contingency plan as to if we can't locate the records of those original donors, what we're going to do?
That's pretty much on the ball court of Pueblo y Salud, because they were the original driving force. I believe they were the ones that took care of the donation drive. I know that the idea of asking for new donations has been brought forth before, but still, some of the members want to pay the respects to people that have already donated and see if we can locate those records first.
Thank you. And going back a little bit to that last question on the future meeting. So since there seems to be two ad hocs, right? One for commission, one for council. Would it be appropriate for us that are in the commission ad hoc to also join in that meeting, or is this different? It's council first and then commission. How does that work?
So because the commission is an advisory group, what I would suggest is that I could bring the idea forth to the council ad hoc committee. I don't see a big like a big problem. The more ideas, the better. The more when it comes to fundraising and all that, the more volunteers, the better. So, but I would have to run it through council first, definitely.
And I'll continue to be in touch with Mayor Mary Mendoza to see the updates that she might know, as you suggested.
Yes, I think that would be the best step to take as of now. Mayor Mendoza this is a project dear to her heart, and she's a very active member of that ad hoc.
Great, thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
No, thank you for the information. Do they have kind of an idea of when they would like to get this project started? I know we have all these meetings coming up to talk about the financials and the plans and everything, but do they have an idea of when they want to start the project, or have like, this is our deadline, we have to start at this time?
They were talking about different ideas that have to do around around the days of Cesar Chavez birthday and the Cesar Chavez walk and all that. But again, because of recent things that have happened, I'm not sure those dates are still so sure as of now.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I know this has been going on for a long time, so we look forward to the information so that we can move forward on that. And right now, so until you bring us that information, I have no further questions. So thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next on the agenda is going to be department programs and service update.
Okay. We are going to be sharing the latest on what's going on with programming and activities at the parks. And I'd like to start with our Independence Day Festival. This was held on July the 4th at Recreation Park. This year we were very excited because it featured a spectacular new drone light show using 150 synchronized drones choreographed to patriotic music. This family fun-friendly event treated participants to carnival games, arts and crafts, food, and artisan vendors. We were very excited to kick off the event with a presentation of colors performed by San Fernando Valley Detachment 1277 of the Marine Corps League, as you can see in this image here. Also, we did have the ever-popular watermelon eating contest. We had two categories, one for children and the other one for older teens and adults, and it was a hit. So as you can see here, they were really into it, and they had some great prizes and a lot of fun. Of course, we also enjoyed the amazing band Full Clip, which provided great music. And the grand finale, of course, was our drone show, and I'm sharing a few images here. It was just really I thought it was a great show, and I think most people, from what I heard, they were happy to have this alternative to fireworks, given the dangers to the fire hazards, the noise, and what have you. So I think this was a great alternative. And moving on to our summer camp, it is in full swing. Children are enjoying lots of activities at Recreation Park, such as arts and crafts, sports, games, swim time at the San Fernando Pool, field trips. As a matter of fact, today the campers went to Pacific Park at the Santa Monica Pier, a great opportunity to get out of this heat and spend the day at the beach. And some of their activities include science projects. And here you can see this particular project was testing the wind strength. What they did was create a structure out of straws, and they tested how much wind it could handle before it collapsed, and they used a hairdryer. So I think this was a good team effort to learn teamwork and problem-solving skills. Looks like the kids really enjoyed it. There is still opportunity to sign up your children if you're interested, as this summer camp does go through August. And our senior programming at Las Palmas Park is ongoing, lots of activities. Every month we do provide and distribute a monthly calendar showing the activities on a daily basis. This calendar also includes the trips. For example, this Saturday, seniors will be taking a trip to the Camarillo outlets for a day of shopping. And Sunday is the monthly senior club meeting for people that want to participate and give their input, regarding any issues or concerns they may have pertaining to the club. And this month's Senior Club Dance will be held on Saturday, the 26th, and this is in celebration of the club's 55th anniversary. On the back of the calendar, we have a little bit more to highlight the monthly birthday celebration. We have that every month. What I think is particularly popular this time around is the workshop on how to pack a go bag. This is for emergency preparedness, and this is in partnership with Regal and Lakeside Medical. Seniors will be participating in this to learn how to put together an emergency go bag, which includes a first aid kit, emergency blanket, and a flashlight, and it's absolutely free. And our Tiny Tykes Spring Soccer has wrapped up. We had 23 participants, and you can see our staff there. They're committed to teaching these children the basics of soccer, and I thought we'd share these pictures because they're just so cute. So that has wrapped up. But moving on, we do have other programs for youth. Of course, there's a karate, there's Mission City baseball clinics and fall league coming up. There's tennis and martial arts. And we did want to highlight that Three Winds Fitness is offering a summer youth edition. This is going to be for the summertime for ages 4 to 14 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at Recreation Park, and it's absolutely free. And for our adults, the open gym pickleball is very popular. You can also participate in open gym volleyball, and we have our ongoing Zumba, chair yoga, and walkable Wednesdays for anybody that wants to stay fit and active. We will be offering a new activity. It's called Stretch and Strengthening. This is at Las Palmas Park, and it's going to start, let's see, I believe in August, but we have 2 free demos if you'd like to check it out and see if you like it. Wednesday, July 23rd, and Wednesday, July 30th at 10:30 at Las Palmas Park, and these are 2 free demos to give this, this activity a chance and see if you like it. And a couple of save the dates. We do have movies at the park coming up. Our first movie will be on July 18th at Recreation Park, featuring Inside Out 2, following with Sonic 3 on July 25th at Pioneer Park, and Moana 2 on August 1st at Recreation Park. So don't forget to bring your lawn chair, blankets. You'll be able to enjoy a great evening under the stars, and this is a great time to spend with family. Also, please keep this on your radar. Celebrate the City of San Fernando's 114th birthday. This is going to be held again at the Casa de Lopez Adobe, and we're going to have great live entertainment, tours of the Lopez Adobe. It's going to be on Saturday, August 30th at 6:30 p.m., so please mark your calendars. And again, as the the temperatures are rising, we want to remind everybody that cooling centers are available at Recreation Park and Las Palmas Park. Once the temperature hits 95 degrees, we do open the cooling centers. And just a few reminders to wear sunscreen, wear a hat when you're outdoors, stay hydrated, check on your neighbors, especially elderly people and children. And please never leave your kids or pets in a car, and try to keep your pets indoors whenever possible. And lastly, we do really want to promote our city app for any type of information you want to access, submitting service requests, reporting issues. This is a great way to get your message across to the right department and follow up so you can find out once your issue has been resolved. And with that, we are ready to take any questions or comments.
Great. Thank you so much for that. I just want to let you know that the laser show was wonderful. I did attend it. It was a great job that you all did, and all the residents enjoyed it, and they were so pleased. Still hearing all the comments. So I just want to say you guys did a good job, and it turned out to be a very successful event. Let's go ahead and start, Commissioner Garcia.
Well, thank you for the presentation. No real questions. I did have a comment about the app, because I'm not really if people want to park wherever they want to park, it's not that important to me sometimes, but I have seen that which does bother me is when people use the handicap and I see them get out of their car and they're like young and I know that clearly they're not handicapped. And I noticed on the app, which is the first time I wanted to use it, I didn't see that option. Maybe it's there now. This is like maybe 2 weeks ago. And so I did want to ask about that is how do you report parking violations on the app? Because I tried to, find like an other option or something because I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I should report it because I feel like they may be taking up a space from somebody that could actually use it. So that was my comment.
That would be Sergeant Dominguez.
Yes. So through the app, you could create a ticket to inform us of any vehicles parked illegally throughout the whole city. What you can do is, I don't know if you noticed, you could do a pin drop on the location. Yeah, so I'm trying to access the app right now, but service here is not, it's poor. um, but when you go to the app, it'll ask you for an address. You could either type in the address or do a pin drop based on the GPS on your phone. Second, you could take a picture of the car. You can take a picture of the car and upload it into the ticket you created. And once you hit send, that automatically goes to our parking enforcement officers. So our parking enforcement officers will receive the notification and they'll follow through with it. So that's something that I was working with Will Petner to include our parking enforcement officers in receiving the notifications. So once they receive the notifications and when they become available, they go through the queue of all the tickets that were created, and they try to tackle those parking complaints.
Okay. Can I just, Sergeant Dominguez? I don't think the app actually, and I don't even know if this is in our scope. But since you mentioned the application, I don't think there's anything for parking violations. I think it's just abandoned vehicles on the app.
Give me a
So if
second.
so I don't know, Julio, can we continue on discussion with this, even though it's out of our scope, having to do with, it's going to be going into conversations?
What I can do is invite Mr. Petner for a future meeting. He's the one who's working with the app, and in the meantime, I honestly I would suggest calling the parking enforcement directly. But definitely we can invite Mr. Petner for a future meeting, and maybe that's something that is in the works.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that would be best, only because, we can open a whole can of worms going on to this
Okay.
app. And
Yeah, thank you. And again, I kind of mentioned that thinking about the community. And so, yeah, but I did try to report it that way. And at the time, I didn't see like a parking option.
right,
But I could be wrong now. But
yeah.
thank you.
You could also call us.
you're right.
You could also call us. So I currently oversee the parking enforcement officers. So just to let you know, we're currently gonna have a parking enforcement officer working overnight. They're gonna be working from 01, actually 1 in the morning to 5 a.m. And then we're gonna have a second parking enforcement officer working from 2 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So we're gonna have that evening coverage. During the day, we'll have two, and in the evenings, we'll have an overlap
Oh,
when it comes to coverage. So that's something that we worked on yesterday. So we get enough coverage throughout the whole city because we don't understand that parking is a major concern throughout the city. And sorry, I was trying to access the app, but I don't think it's working.
Yeah, it doesn't work in here. But thank you for that.
Commissioner Friend?
I have no comments, but always and forever we'll always thank you guys for doing these events. And I look forward to the 115th, 14th birthday. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, I can't believe it, but I hope to see everybody there.
Yes. Commissioner Sanchez?
Thank you. Thank you for all those pictures. I always look forward to seeing all of these reports because the pictures are amazing. Whoever is taking them is making me jealous of those parties, especially the ones with the senior parties. They look amazing. And if I might jump in the bandwagon of Commissioner Garcia, of the app, I'm sorry, not the app, the parking situation. I know that there was a new law that came into place. Was it daylight parking or something, the sidewalk, right? Which I've been so scared of getting a ticket, but nobody, we haven't, I should, we have not been receiving any tickets in our area. So I was curious, is that really being enforced yet?
Yes, it is being enforced.
Yes, it's
So
being enforced, and that's out of our scope. So let's not. Unfortunately, I apologize, but let's not go there because it's out of our scope right now. In regards to, we can bring that up in the when we have the presentation or with so forth. But it will open a can of worms to just go in there.
But that's the same idea, that we would just have to call if we see something.
Yes,
Okay.
just we encourage everyone to call, especially for parking. Like I said, I was working yesterday. I had a meeting with our CSO, so we have enough coverage throughout 24 hours a day. Yeah, there's gonna be a few hours when we don't have the overlap, but again, we're doing our best to have coverage throughout the 24 hours.
Perfect, thank you. And yes, on the ticket on the, I'm sorry, the app, I want to say that I used the app to report one of those trees that were planted in front of my home 2 years ago, I want to say, about, and it fell. I don't know if it was vandalism, I don't know, but it was just side over, right? And the stakes were just on the side. I don't know if it was windy. I don't know. But I did open a ticket through the app, and next day we had 2 cars from the city coming over to fix it. Turns out the neighbor came over and fixed it. I don't know at what time, but then I don't know if it was also the city who also notified the tree people, and they came that same day. So we had 3 cars to fix the little thin tree. Which is
Very proactive.
Very, very. So the app works, and I got a confirmation of my ticket, and I did get a notification every step of the process, and until it was closed. So,
Great, thank you. Vice,
Amazing job as always. All the programs, so many. Making me want to do the pickleball. Hello. Really thinking about that.
trying to do that.
Question about the summer camp. It's held at Recreation, correct? And I know that the grass, because the children aren't allowed to go outside in that area. I'm just asking a question, like for the children to go outside aside from the pool, are they mostly indoors? Or are there other areas for them to go outside to get fresh air? Or like, how does the program actually, like, a day look like, I guess?
I know.
Yes, the kids do go outside. They're let out. They have their sports programming outside. They go and use the playground, and then they also use the picnic area the picnic tables that aren't within the enclosed areas for their lunchtime.
Okay.
So they get plenty of sunshine. When it's super hot, they do keep them indoors.
Yeah.
Or they'll take them out momentarily and then bring them back in just so that they can, run off some of that energy. But they are taken outside. They have rotations. So they have their art, they have their science, they have their sports rotation, and then lunch, snacks. And usually for lunch and snacks is when they're taken outside. And they'll probably be out there for maybe like 30 minutes. So it's a combined, like, their snack time, and then they get to go play on the playground, and then they'll bring them back inside, and the groups will start their rotations again.
I was just so curious because I know that the grass has been a
Yeah.
big hiccup. So I was just wondering if that interferes with what they're doing throughout the day.
They find a way.
Yeah, I know. And then is that program, is it only weekly or is it day by day?
Weekly registrations.
Weekly registration. Okay, great. Just good to know because people have asked about it. So it's great to know the info. Thank you so much again for all your hard work and putting together these awesome programs. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And so staff communication.
Linda?
Thank you. I just did want to say, give a big, big thank you to our department photographer. As you mentioned, some of these photographs are really amazing, and we have a very talented staff, Samantha Morales, and she just does a great job. She's got a great eye, really captures the moments. So I just wanted to just thank her publicly, and I hope you enjoyed those pictures. Thank you.
I would call on Soledad, but she betrayed us and went over to HR. Sorry, Soledad. No, I'm just kidding. Maribel?
We did leave out one of our program highlights from our department updates. Our Mariachi Master Apprentice program was out in Washington, D.C.
last week as guests of the Miss Smithsonian, and they were there for the Folklife Festival. Kids, Maria came back talking wonders, and the kids were just exposed to all this amazing art and culture from all over the world. They got to perform I think she said every day they performed somewhere. And then they also got to do little presentations. And Maria's like, every chance I got to take them to go visit a memorial or a monument or a museum, it's like whatever free time they had, which was also very limited, she was just trying to expose them to as much as possible. So I believe it was a group of 12 youth, 10 to 12 youth, and then some of the master instructors also accompanied them, and then they had 3 of the chaperones go. So it's a big, it's a big recognition for our department and that program that we're trying to keep alive. And I think council's also on board with continuing the funding now that we're struggling with federal funding. But yeah, I think I want to just drop that
Great,
in there.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll have some pictures of that for next month.
What I can do is send you a link to the picture and also a link to the first performance that they did at the it was called Youth and the Future of Culture by the Smithsonian Museum. And again, a big thank you to Maria that was there as a representative from the city, and apparently our kids were magnificent in their art, and people were very impressed. Kids had a wonderful experience, and we had like Maribel mentioned, we had a couple of our teens participate in different breakout sessions. One of them being that our mariachi women participated in Women in Music, along with other women that are in music, um, mainly cultural music throughout the country. So you'll see some of those groups perform in the link that I'll send you. But definitely a great experience for the kids. And right after flying out of Washington D.C., they headed to Albuquerque for another mariachi festival. So those kids are going to be tired when they come back. So
We are proud of them, and then they represent our city.
and Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to. I know that I always say this, but just a big thank you to all my staff, full time and part time. Um, Given that this time around the 4th of July celebration was a little different because we were unsure the week of the event, we were unsure whether it was going to go on or not, and our team was just ready for anything, and they did not miss the beat. When the drone show came up, we saw the park, and the park was full of people, and our part-time staff, of course, came through once again with their hard work. Marisol, Patty Garcia, Juan, and Maribel, of course, with planning the event, and just with the whole team executing the day of. So a big thank you to my team. Thank you.
Thank you. They did a marvelous job. They're amazing, and turned out to be such a wonderful event. All right, so now we're going to move down to commissioner updates and requests to agendize the items for discussion for a future meeting. And we're going to go ahead and start with Commissioner Friend.
I know I came in late. I'm not too sure if I missed the part where we're talking about the park, the pocket dog park. If it was any update with that from last meeting. I'm curious if we could just put on the agenda for next meeting if we didn't talk about it this meeting.
If the commission agrees, yeah, we can put it on the agenda and invite Public Works again back. That's their area of expertise.
Yes, we were supposed to get the information in regards to the contract for that park.
Okay.
And then I think we had a couple other questions, and he was going to bring that back to us. So when he does have a chance, then we'll bring it up to come up to one,
Okay.
one of the
So
meetings.
if I'm seeing that there's an agreement with the commission to bring that back, we can add it to the agenda next time.
Oh, are you?
Do I need to do a vote?
No.
Or just okay.
Because
good.
we're all
No, I
agreeing,
saw a
right?
lot of heads nodding.
Okay,
As long as
so,
we're like all in
And
agreement.
yeah, that was. I think that was, and that kind of goes back to the hummingbird plants and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was just an update for those couple things, and yeah.
great, thank you.
Commissioner
No,
Garcia,
nothing from me. Thank you.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding me of the hummingbirds. Public Works was going to bring back what was it? Updating if it was possible to change the flowers and the pots for hummingbird flowers or friendly flowers. That was one thing, and then yeah, the contract for the park, the possible dog park that we want. That was everything that we had on the list, or in my notes at least. I just had one question. When you mentioned about preparing the city for the World Cup and the Olympics, do we have any other projects in line to beautify our city for those, as we prepare for those events?
Um, there is an actual ad hoc that was also created for at city council level that deals with that. We did attend as a city the original meeting for the World Cup hosting committee, in which a few opportunities for municipalities were outlined to get involved. That included hosting like a game viewing event, banners, street banners on our light poles, maybe hosting some soccer clinics, even hosting some sort of art activity in the city. Um, the um, um, the the ad hoc committee is actually working very closely with third district supervisor Lindsay Horvath, and seeing how we can collaborate together and maybe doing a viewing party for one of the World Cup games. So there are things in the works that are happening. Of course, it takes a lot of organization, a lot of coordination, and to the point where we're looking at maybe bringing in an outside agency or putting an RFP out for an agency to host a large scale like that in our city.
That's wonderful. I'm excited. Do you know who is in the ad hoc from council?
I believe is Councilmember Garcia, and I believe is Mayor Mendoza.
Excellent. Thank you. No more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Brooks.
I have no question. I'm happy to see what they bring with the dog park and the pollinator area that we want to talk about. It's been on our list for a while, and I think it's great that they're really coming up with awesome ideas for the World Cup. It's an opportunity to really communicate, to really connect also with our businesses and everybody within the community. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Everything that you mentioned, it's all here. So that's wonderful. I don't have anything else. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments and input. We're going to go ahead and, since there's no further discussion, just going to have an update on that information that we did request from Public Works. And thank you all once again for everything that you've all done and taking the time to come out, fellow commissioners, taking your time to come out here and do what you love to do for our city. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.